Welcome to Get Biz, Do Biz, Get Pay. I am your host, Luan the Don. We're gonna find out what it really takes to win in the construction industry. What it really takes to make a lot of money, have a great life, and be able to do the thing that you wanted to do. Enjoy. Welcome to Get Biz, Do Biz, Get Pay. If you are listening to this episode right now, you are a deck builder and you're looking for some marketing tips in growing and scaling your deck business, and maybe that can translate into a little bit of business building tip too. Today, I have a very special guest. She is very well known in the deck building community. She is the owner of Deck Builder Marketer. So, I mean, she helped deck builders to do their marketing, full service, done for you, white glove service for deck builders. So if you are looking for deck building, hopefully for deck building marketing, hopefully after this episode, hit April up and she'll be able to give you a new book that just came out, give you some expertise, give you some education, and maybe gonna help you grow your deck building business. Welcome to the show, April Airport.
Thank you so much, man. It's great to be here.
It's 2025. Let's jump right into it. Tariffs coming. People are scared. Hey, Luan, my sales are down. People are pulling back because they're losing 17% on their investment. People are just not buying right now. Uh, what are some of the measuring steps that you taken so far in advising your client how to move forward through this time?
Well, Luan, I think you talk a lot about mindset, and now is definitely the time to make sure that you have a good mindset in what's going on. I don't think that you can ever lead a company with fear. And I would say that's the first thing is don't feel that you need to completely, drop out and change everything. Just realign on your approach and double down on what's working well. So we've been through this before with, economy shifts, and those who stay in the game come out on top because everybody else is scared and they're pulling out. So I think it's just really important to think of the long-term game when there are fluctuations like this going on.
Yeah, it's funny as you say that. Me personally, I love volatility. I love time like this because, believe it or not, now's the perfect time for you to raise your price because the market is raising their price. The market is doing the price impression for you. Volatility, that means emotion is involved in every decision. So for me, right now is the perfect time to run a retargeting campaign. Perfect time to run a tariff campaign, which we have deployed in the last week. That had great success because you're gonna move people because fear of loss. You're gonna get people to move into a decision quicker and close out on some of those people that maybe I want to think about. But now you're using this to your advantage to stack up the job, which you didn't really have an external factor to get people to move. So I actually love time like this because it gives me a reason to get people to move forward. Hey, tariffs coming, we can't control it. And actually, Timber Tech is raising prices. Actually, Westbury is raising prices. These are American-made company, but actually the raw material is still coming from China and other places. But you can still have time to lock in the current price right now because our stocking position with the supplier. Go ahead and get on the calendar by this date. And better yet, use our financing 0% for 12 months with no upfront cost to you, no payment for 90 days. You wouldn't believe how many people tell me no, but you wouldn't believe how many people told me yes.
Yeah. Right. You got to plant a seed. And in marketing terms, we call it, sense of urgency. Always have a sense of urgency. And that's what you're creating. So basically, what you're saying is you're doing a campaign to say, hey, lock it in now because prices are going up.
Yes, because we can't control it. It's external circumstances. But because if people are having an open bid with you, they are still thinking about it. They are still collecting bid. They are still shopping on their own term. But what we're doing is we're just taking all those things away and we're putting it in front of you, in front of them. Hey, just a quick note. The price are increasing 3 to 20% depending on the product category. But I can lock you in with no material escalation clause if you sign by this date. Better yet, if you don't want to pay upfront, use our money. So there's so many psychological trigger that you can use to get the immediate demand. And and what people don't understand is when you get these immediate demand to come in, you hold all the cash to be able to deploy that into your future marketing campaign when everybody else is pulled back. But people still need that. If their dogs is sick and they don't want to, walk out in the front for their dog to take a shit and their deck is broken, they're still gonna buy.
Mhm.
Nothing's Trump do is not going to change that fact. So I think when we talk about the economic factor, people think too big, like we can't control what happened outside our city, our purview. But what we can control is we can control the messaging to get people to move forward. Because all we are doing is helping people building their dreams.
Love it. And I would just want to say this. I told you before we got started today that you and I have a very similar mindset. And it's an optimistic, like, I'm not going to take any bullshit. I am going to work and have grit and I'm going to move forward and I'm going to do this. And I think that, I mean, you said think big, but I kind of feel like people think too small, and they think too short term. And so thinking big in terms of the long run and understanding, like, hey, you know what? Maybe this is a good challenge. And I like a good challenge. Yeah, it's painful when you're going through it, but it's what makes you come out on top. And so, some practical tips with what we're talking about here would be, like doubling down and going out and getting those video testimonials, and making sure you're getting those reviews. And I believe you have a really good strategy where you gift before you ask for a referral. Like, get creative, people, like you're creative with your hands. And that's why you're in this space to build amazing outdoor living spaces. But get a little bit creative when times are tough, and that's where kind of the psychological branding, creative component comes into marketing, which I feel like in general, we're getting more back to the Mad Men era, versus like all the technical stuff. Those are just tools, the things that we do, SEO, Google Ads, all of these things, they're just tools. But really knowing what makes you different and being creative with how you connect with people and have those things like sense of urgency and, um, video testimonials and proof and things like that are really what's going to not persuade, but encourage and inspire somebody to move forward with you, even, when times are tough. And just one other thing I want to add to that is it's also about really understanding who your target audience is. And I just think that so many people in this space, they just kind of live off of referrals and they look to see what's going to come to them instead of controlling the narrative and getting to a point where they have the privilege of being selective, because the work that they did last year, 6 months ago in their marketing and getting out there and making sure that they're staying in front of people is paying off.
Yeah, that's a really old good point, and I want to expand on your point a little bit. There is we going back to the madman area because now that the internet has matured a little bit or the SEO has matured a little bit, these things are, going into I'm not saying the decline, but now people are paying more attention to the creative. Like you can't just pop up like $500 and run some Facebook ad and hey, we do that, give us a call. That don't work no more. What works is showcasing the before and after picture. That don't work anymore. Showing showing yourself, walking around the deck. Hey, this is what I did. Uh, I am proud myself. I would tell you we try all that. Nobody give a shit. You know what they give a shit about? Hey, Susan down there that get the work done for me. She say Lon is good. So Lon must be good, right? Because to me the best marketing is done when I don't have to do it, when other people do it for me. So to expand on your point, we do people that say, "Hey, my work speak for itself." I'm sure you go to that objection a lot. I have people that I'm so busy. I got people that give me referral all the time, but they're stuck at that 500,000, $1 million. But they want to make big boy money, but they don't want to do big boy stuff. Is that sounds about right?
Oh, well, I think there's a lot of pride too. People really
Right.
wear that on their sleeve that, hey, I don't have to market, and to me, I mean, I hate to be like brutally honest and have the hard truth, but that's not having a business owner mindset. That's not being a CEO and an investor in your business. That's having created a job for yourself and doing something that you know, you are passionate about. And I think that there's a good mix between the two that, to find that balance.
Since and I'm gonna, from a deck builder, from a deck builder, a business owner, a marketer, a brand builder that just happened to be in the decking industry, I can say this: your work is good enough. Sure, that is that is just a given. Like people expect that. I mean, we're professionals. You don't go to an eye doctor, pay an eye doctor to fix your eyes, and expect your eye to be crooked like this, right? You don't go to a deck builder, pay them to build a deck, and the decks look like shit. That doesn't pass the eye test. So that is, to me, that's a minimum. Like to me, we shouldn't be talking about how great our decks is anymore. There's got to be something else that we talk about. There got to be that motive behind why they're building a deck. That's something we should talk about. There's got to be the motivation, not for us. I mean, I don't care about the deck building. I'm doing this for the client. Why do they buy from us? Can you get into that mindset? Well, let's see. Well, they buy because they want to make memory, not because they want to see timber tag, not because they want to see Westbury, not because these cable railing looks so sick. They buy the cable railing because they want to see the view. They buy the composite because they don't want to maintenance. And they buy the deck in general because they want to make memory. So we got to get past the material, the products, and start thinking about, the emotional aspect of deck building,
Mhm.
right? And then your work is good enough is a bullshit excuse to not market, because because otherwise, from what my experience, when you do that, and I talk with a lot of deck builder, people will stay at the 500, and maybe they'll do a million or maybe a million and a half, uh, doing all that, and they will never break free. I mean, for me, as an example, we'll probably do 15 million this year because I was willing to break the ceiling, and to break the ceiling, you gotta let more people know about your stuff. That's
Mm,
it,
I love it. It's good.
right?
Yeah. Well, I want to say you've gotten a lot of systems in place in order to be in scale mode in that way. Like you've kind of worked through all of those things in order to be able to confidently add it to the business in order to move it in that direction.
Yes, we have system, and we have a lot of process and system in place. And then I would say this, if you are not one call closing your deck, you're probably missing out a lot of money. And I know it's hard for some people to conceptualize that, but we are one call close organization. So it doesn't mean that I'm going to force you to buy a deck today. That means that when you call, when the lead come in, So I'm talking from the marketing perspective. From when April, you helped me generate a lead, but somebody call. That's where our system start. When somebody call me, I want to make sure I get to that lead within 60 seconds. I want to make sure I set an appointment to go out within 24 to 48 hours. 72 hours, we are absolutely slam in spring. And I want to get that person onboarded into our pipeline within a week from when they reach out to when they become a deal, so then I can flip that marketing money back onto the system, make it the same cycle again. So from then, we have a production manager that's going to call right out, set up a meeting with our project manager, go get the plan, get the permit, and flip them into the production process. And then sales guy, his hands off. Production is going to take over. And then at the end, our production manager, somebody who they haven't seen, going to call and ask for feedback, constructive feedback. What can we do better? How can we serve you better? What can we do? Wow, shit. I was gonna say that to Luan, but he's looked kind of mean, all tatted up. So I pay him anyway. But we really like this little spot touch up. Cool. Let me send the guy over. Would you care to do a review for us? If we do all this for you? Oh, of course. You guys been so nice to me. Boom, 5-star review.
Yeah. I think there's a system with each of that, but at the end of the day, it's about having intention in what you do. And if I could wrap it back around to what we were talking about with economical factors, referrals, yes, but referrals are always going to be great, but you can control that. Controlling that means being intentional about your customer experience and these additional touch points that you do before, during, and after the project is done to naturally get those referrals. And I know that you have some amazing things that you do.
Yeah, so when I think about client experience, back in the casino day, one of my mentors told me that nobody is going to remember how much they spend with you, because I used to do casino sales. And I don't sell a product. I sell a feeling and entertainment, air. I sell air, pretty much. Nobody is going to remember how much money they lose or how much money they spend at Horseshoe Casino, blah, blah, blah. But everybody is going to remember how you make them feel, right? And then when you can get to this point, when you can connect an emotional feeling to the end result, that whatever you're trying to do, that's branding.
Mhm.
And you want to be luxury, be comfortable. Make it a comfort for them to do the business with you. That's all branding means. I mean, you gotta attach a feeling, and the logo and the aesthetics that go with it. There's an executional power behind it, and you have to make sure that that executional power make people remember you in a positive way. And um and that's one aspect. And the second aspect is there's a law of first impression, which is speed to lead, blah 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 blah. And as you and I, we all know that speed to lead, getting to the prospect, getting the bid out, closing them quickly, showing up polished, this and that. That's law of first impression. And the law of recency is people is gonna remember the last interaction you have with them. So you want to make sure that that last interaction is positive. So if you have a breakdown in service, you have to have a service recovery process to make sure that last interaction is a positive one. Our best referral source, this is a lesson for everybody. Our best referral source is actually two jobs that we royally fuck up. But then we come back, and then one job we didn't pull permit, whatever, she found out. And we pull permit, we come back, say, hey, let me make this right for you. She gave us 5 jobs.
Yeah, I was just going to say, sorry to interrupt you, but it's vulnerability. And that's where we're talking about with being with branding is it's being authentic, and it's being real and it's understanding what makes you different. And it is the entire experience too. It's not just the first impression or the last impression, but it's how you show up. Are your guys smoking in the backyard, or do they have like shirts on and they're showing up clean and, cleaning up the space? Are you touching base with the client during the project? Are you checking in with them after the project is done to make sure that everything's, still working well? Are you giving them tips on furniture and maintenance? Are you hosting, like a deck party with like some light catering and shaking some baby's hands, so to speak, it's the entire experience, and it's about being memorable.
Yeah, and want to touch on this concept of top of mind awareness too. Um, and that's how we 60% of our business is referral, and we control that pretty tightly, and we have a process from start to finish, and it's woven into our sale process. It's woven into our client experience journey. It's woven into our after production caring for our clients. So that's why we send a periodically gift. That's why we send out, email to, that's why we send out cookbook idea. That's why we send out all this added value, even after we collect the final check from them. And the funny thing happened is when you stay top of mind, and then when you give people value, which is the small gift is a value, right? And you don't ask anything in exchange, you invoke a law of reciprocity. So what does the law of reciprocity say? If you do something nice for people, like April, like me and you go to a bar, I buy you a beer, what's the next thing you want to do for me? You're gonna want to buy me a beer back, right? So if I do that quarterly and quarterly, what's the nice thing to do back for Luan? He's a deck guy. They're gonna go on Facebook group. Hey, Deck Pro is a great builder. Deck Pro is a great builder. Deck Pro is a great builder. So that's brand impression. They're gonna refer their neighbor. They're gonna go to their church. Somebody needs a deck. They're gonna put our name out there. And this might not come to anything yet, but it's going to show up in your click to rate. It's going to show up into your ad how effective it is. So maybe a conversion is $200 for you right now. Maybe it's going to be $100 because I actually know that guy. I actually heard about him like 7 times. So now I see him all over the internet. I see him in YouTube. Oh, I go on social media. He's on there again. So now they already bought. So now it's just showing up and figuring out the money,
Yep.
right? Right. So that the top of mind, so you stay on top of everybody mind. You got 300 people in the community yelling out your name, and it's not through a megaphone, through whisper, right? So so that's something that has really been a very high success rate for us. And then there's clients that have bought from us 4 times, 5 times. Hey, Lauren, I want a deck extension. Hey, can you add a roof on for me? Hey, can you go on my front and actually check out the front porch? I actually want to get that done too for it to match the back. So think about the long-time client value. Think about the referral rate. Think about how you can drag your marketing costs down, your client acquisition, instead of it being what 10%. I think we pay about 3% over in the total revenue. But that is lead setting, all this little pillar that we can improve 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%. It's not just one thing. So I don't want to overwhelm people with this, but literally, like the best thing you can do for your business is take care of your people, take care of your lead, take care of your client, do what you say you're gonna do, and make sure they don't forget about you. That's it.
Yeah, and I think that's going above and beyond for some people though too, like, let's be real. But I do wanna touch on what you said, and I mean, we have all this, nerdy marketing lingo that we use, but being omnipresent, and so having all those touch points, I mean, we're trying to build a client success hub, and we're doing open coaching with our clients because we handle the digital marketing, but there's still so many things that they need to do on their end, which is why I talk about systems and stuff like that. And like, we're trying to coach our clients, like, hey, get a referral program together. Here are some ideas because it all works together. But so many people come to us and they're like, oh, I'm going to invest in marketing for the first time and it's going to double my business overnight. And you guys are the magic pill. And I'm like, man, I would love to give our company that much credit, and I wish it was like that, but it's not. It's a partnership, and there's a lot of things that you have to do from a company perspective in order to control those touch points, because if somebody's going to invest 50,000, $150,000 into an outdoor living space, they're not going to just decide one day that they want a deck and then search for deck builder near me and then hop on the phone and that's it. They're going to learn about what they need. They're going to ask people, they're going to do their research, and they're going to vet different builders. And those who stay, I'm going to wrap it back around to the economical factors here. Those that stay in front of people are going to be memorable and reach the people that still have the money, that, can afford a deck and need it as much as you are inspiring them to need it.
Yeah, I think that's all great point, and stay omnipresent is one of the things that we are trying to do. I mean, we do track the lead attribution, right, where the lead come from and things like that. But then if you stop the brand building, the attribution is gonna, the money is gonna jump up like this in lead costs because people need to see your brand about 15 times. I think maybe the number changed now since we're so deep into the digital age. People need to see your brand even more before they input that form on Google. Google might still get your money
Mhm.
because it's the bottom of the funnel, but you need to do the work on the top of the funnel and middle of the funnel for you to be able to get a chance to capture that lead. Otherwise, it's going to go to somebody else. As hard at this is all sound, but I don't think it's that hard because nobody there. If you're looking at your market, if there's a guy out there that having 40, 50 review and they're the number one player in your area, they're not doing shit. So I've done a bit of research into a lot of big city. There's nobody else out there and doing what we do on the grand scale. There's some like Architect and there's Outback Deck in Atlanta, but
Yeah.
their process is not at dial in. Their client experience is not at dial in. So what does that mean for you as a deck builder? That means it's not too late yet to get all this shit dialed in. I know you can build a fucking deck. We're not talking about that. We're not, that's 20% of the business. You got that figured out. Okay,
Mhm.
now let's move forward. Now
Mhm.
you want to go this shit to 3 million? Get this in. Go learn how to sell. Go learn how to lead set. Go learn go learn how to sell on the spot. That's probably one of the biggest thing that people struggle. Oh, they're not my client. They don't want to pay my price. It's just a repair lead. You know what? We love fucking repair. You know why? There's nobody out there. I'm the only one that show up.
Mhm.
I'm the only one that show up, and I'm like, well, you don't seem like the type of person that like to put new wire in an old bottle. What do you mean, Lauren? I'm like, well, you're spending money on a new composite, new railing, new stair, new post, new footing. You want to save the frame? I mean, this is $1 million house, April. Oh,
Mhm.
sure, give me a new bid. And then, from a stair repair, it's a $41,000 job. From a railing repair, it's a 73,000 cover deck because it happened too many times for me to not go out to these leads anymore. So repair doesn't matter.
Mhm.
We go out to all of them, and I'm gonna get some pushback from people that like, well, I don't have time, right? I'm like, okay, if you are a $1 million guy, you only need one job a week for you to sell 1 million.
Mhm.
So that's 4 appointment, 25% close rate. You tell me you can't run 4 appointment a week? That's bullshit.
Mhm.
That's bullshit. And most of the time, that's all the lead people need to get to 1 million. If you want to go to 2 million, you need to go see 8 people a week. You tell me you can't stop the appointment in Friday and Saturday and go see 8 people a week. That again is bullshit. You do have time, you make the fucking time. Otherwise, how the hell are you gonna grow?
Yep, and that's the grit I'm talking about, or having a system for recruiting people that can support you and, allow you to delegate how you need to. So we were talking about all the touch points and stuff. And so another nerdy marketing term is attribution. And it's something that is really important that we have to talk to our clients about. Like, yes, we can tell you what your cost per lead is with Google Ads, but it's a linear attribution, meaning like, yeah, maybe like the lead came in to your CRM from Google Ads, but they probably, saw one of your display ads or in a magazine or heard from you from a person or did some research and, read some of your articles. And so it's really interesting because we have all this data these days to, look at and like figure out how to tweak things. And it's like leave that to us nerdy marketing people, and at the end of the day, just look at what your cost per lead is with your marketing mix and know that you have to spend something. So you said that you're spending about 3% of your revenue on marketing. It probably wasn't that when you started. You probably spent more, right? And it's compounded over time, and now you're spending less. But
Yeah.
your business has grown twofold every year over year, right?
Hmm.
You guys hear this? This is real talk, people.
So
Man,
we went from 1 to 3 to 5 to 9, and this year we already sold almost $4 million. So the trajectory is going to be, I set the goal at 15, and we might make it, we might not, but I'm not going to be bad either way, But the trajectory that we going is we're going to get there. So to your point, yes, you can grow like this, but in the beginning, I budgeted 10%,
mhm,
and
yep.
I spend all of it in marketing. And well, how you get that money to spend on it? You charge 10% more.
Mhm, yeah.
That's it.
And also, let me ask you this. How successful was each dollar that you spent on your marketing? Meaning
Uh,
like some things work and some things don't, right? Like not everything is going to yield a super high return. I'm just curious to know what your experience was.
I'm more of a omnipresent guy. I know that something work and something doesn't, and we all know that. But the thing that works the most is what people see the most, and this is what guy talk about the most. Hey, well, where you get your most money for the amount of lead is, and I would tell you because I had experience in handling lead back in the casino. Facebook was one of the best tool for me when I first started. I saw $1 million even before I have a website to a Facebook page because it allowed me some basic marketing function off of a Facebook post. So Facebook is still continue to be one of the best marketing tool for me because it's allow text, video, and the targeting is pretty on point with these AI that they have nowadays. That not to say that Google Ad is not a good source either. So if you want to talk about the two guys that are going to bring you the instant success, Google and Facebook.
Hey,
Like Google and Facebook. Like you can't scale out these two giants. You can't spend on Google and don't spend on Facebook or vice versa.
I guess the point I want to make is that don't be afraid to invest because it's so crazy how difficult it is to get some people to invest money into their business. And I think it's because they're so used to investing time that, I mean, that's one part of it. And the other part is understanding that as your business evolves, your areas of focus need to change. You're going to have different problems and you're going to need to approach it in a different way. Where I am in my business, I'm like, I will pay anything if it saves time and produces a better result. Because if I can create an amazing product or service, that is going to get me increased revenue. Yeah, I want people to understand not to be afraid to invest and to understand that what you did to get to 1 million isn't going to be the same that you're going to have to do to get to 2 to 5 to 15 and so on.
I want to reframe the audience a little bit. Most people treat marketing as an expense, and it show up on the P&L as an expense. But me, uh, it's not an expense; it's an investment. And right now, my investment yield, I put $3 in, and I get 100 back. And if you thinking and I'm operating at a 20 net profit, so if I put $3 in, I get $20 back in pure profit, right? Would you make that trade? You would make that trade every single time, right? So the answer go back to budgeting. I'm more of like, hey, I'm a budget 10% for this year, and I will find a way to burn all 10% because I already budgeted for it. Uh, what most people do is they got a little traction, they got a little bit of money coming in, and they don't look at their budget, they look at their bank account, and now they want to keep that money. They want to go on the vacation, but they forgot about their real goal. So if you really want to grow, you can't look at the bank account. You have to look at a budget standpoint. Did you or did you not budget 5% of marketing? So find ways to give your marketer all that money. Hey, I want to fucking burn all of this. Not burn all, I want to invest all this money in marketing. So what that does is you're gonna solve the marketing constraint. Now the constraint gonna move to sale. Oh shit, now I have too many leads. Now I gotta find a way to run all these leads. So now you have a sales constraint. Oh, now I get too many sales. Now you got a production constraint. So the constraint go down, down, down. That's how you grow. You go and you solve the next constraint. You solve the next constraint. You just can't be like, oh, I want to grow, but I don't want to do anything. That's not the point, right? The point is treat marketing as an investment because it is. It's one of those things that you have to spend money on in the beginning anyways to be able to get that brand equity build up to so maybe later on you don't have to spend that much. But all the big company like Nike, Coke, and all of them company, did you know that they still spend about 6 to 7% on their marketing, PR? They're not gonna ask you to buy a Coke because their marketing is more of a brand awareness, a PR campaign, ideation of their core value. So that is more of a high level madman kind of stuff.
And plus, like, going back to Coke and stuff like that, it's like there's always new fish in the pond. Don't feel like you're just gonna, like, reach everybody and that's it. I mean, I had somebody hit me up and they're like, "Well, what if, like, I secure all of the docks in Florida?" And I'm like, "Okay, well, expand to a different place, or focus on different services." Like, that does not sound like a bad problem to me at all. And so the point is, like, you do get to a point where, I mean, in our programs, we really focus on that bottom of the funnel. And so in the customer journey, people kind of go through their research to figure out what they want, and then they're finally looking for a deck builder. So we do start with Google Ads first and focus on those keywords that are going to bring people in that are in that comparison stage. But as you evolve, and this is kind of the phases in our deck builder marketing system, you do want to focus and start investing more into brand awareness because you kind of got the cash flow, you've got the momentum, and now it's like, okay, let's make sure that we're always staying in front of new people. And that's what Coke does, that's what these big brands do. And I think it's like maybe people are like, "Oh, I'm not a big corporate business. I'm not going to compare myself to that." But their principles, their strategies do apply. And there's a reason that they do it. And there's a reason that they invest millions of dollars into their advertising. I'm not saying that, a local deck builder or, remodeler needs to do that. But look, they do it for a reason, because it works.
Really, this go back into your planning. Every year I do a budget planning, and there's money already pre-allocated into doing all this stuff. And it doesn't matter if the economy break down tomorrow. It doesn't matter if I lose all the sub tomorrow. The one thing that I don't stop in marketing, because that's gonna feed me. I'm always going to have a lead to sell. I can always run a lead. I can always set an appointment. I can always go knock a door. So even if you're struggling, the number one thing that people go cut. And I don't know why people do this. It's like piss the living shit out of me. They go cut marketing. I'm like, and how the hell you gonna pull yourself out of this shithole that you dug yourself out?
Mhm.
You cutting the only thing that's feeding you right now, and I just don't get it. And I'm the reason why I spend 3% now is we so effective on the back end, but I still in my market I get 80% of the bid on Google. They tell me, and
Yep.
the next is 15% on Trex, and then Home Advisor get like 5 or 10% or something. But I still dominate the bottom of the funnel because I want to be the best. I want to go the biggest. I want to be the biggest, and not just in this one city, in Lincoln, in Omaha, maybe in Kansas City, everywhere. But the only way to do that is you got to have a mindset for it. Otherwise, there's a next guy that's going to come up. Like nobody know I was coming into the market, and then now everybody start copying what I do 4 years later. Little too late now because I already get collect all the Pokemon.
Yeah, that's it's interesting. It's like it's not a threat, it's a compliment, right?
Right, right. And now everybody, I think we offboarded some salespeople. So now people are doing our sale process 4 years later. People are start doing the one call close. People start building pricing model to be able to price in the home. And then for people that say, well, it's not possible. Well, I've sold $100,000 job, one call close. I've sold $50,000 job, one call close. It's just how you structure it, how you set it up. Can you solve the problem for them right then and there? And then if you have to take it home, are you going to close them out next week? When? Right? So there's all this system that you have to be able to put in place to take people off the market. And that's how the game is done. People think this is not a competition. It sure the fuck is. Like when people are getting 5 bid, it is a competition. Like you just don't know it is. But I think COVID had make a lot of people had created this false demand that like, oh yeah, I can just bid, I could just give them a ballpark pricing, and if they say yes, I'm going to come out there and I'm going to sign them up. What if they say no? Oh my God, what do you do now? Well, I'm just not going to be able to do that, so I won't come out and see you. You just burned $400. And then, when these people tell me that, oh, I have a 90% close rate, oh, no shit, Sherlock. You only go out to the people that want to sign up with you. Of course, you have a 90%. I want to know what your set rate is. Oh, you got 15 people that call in and you only go see 2 people and you have a 100% close rate. That's called being an idiot.
And I know that too whenever I talk to somebody, and it's a pride thing too. Numbers can I don't numbers are not they don't paint a true picture all the time. It's in how you present them. And so if somebody comes to me and they say they have a 90% close rate, I know that they either don't have enough leads or they're just bloating it.
From a true raw lead to close, you can be healthy about 20, 25%. From a raw lead to appointment, you want to be at 70%. From appointment to close, if that number is 30, less than 30%, you got a problem. That number should be at 35 to 40. But then again, the longer the company is in business, the longer the company get the brand equity, the longer the more referral and repeats they're gonna get. So that number can fluctuate depending on the type of company that people are operating in. This like you're not selling a house, guy. You're selling a 12 by 12 deck. Sometime, oh my God, a 20 by 14 deck. Sometime a cover deck. All this stuff you can have pricing model and price it to 1 to 2% at the house. All this stuff can be systematized because if you do the sales better, all of a sudden April look good. My marketer, he worked with a lot of deck builder, and the person that doing the best is me because we have system to capitalize all all the interest. And let's not talk about rehash and retargeting, which nobody is doing. I know that.
Yeah, it's an important time to do that. And when it's a slow season too.
I think first year, and it's a mindset, like just like what you say. To me, it's a mindset. There's no such thing at winter for me.
Yeah.
No such thing. And the funniest thing happened. We have all the market in winter.
Mm.
We have all the market. Our close rate is phenomenal in the winter. People are more ready to buy than ever. Guys are running less appointment, closing more. Like I say, we never stop. Of course, the business is going to go down a little bit, but realizing that you have all the market, you have no competition, you have all the brand awareness in the world in winter because, Joe Smo is vacationing down in Florida, or, Jack right next door is shutting down by Halloween and don't start until March 31st.
Yep.
You literally get 4 months to fuck people over. And it's just like I say, it's just a mindset that we don't shut down in winter. We
Yeah.
we still we still market, we still sell, and we build we can. But if we can't, that's fine. But all the brand awareness, all the marketing, all the campaign don't stop because April, as soon you hit pause on that Google ad button, as soon you hit pause on that Facebook ad button, as soon you hit shut down on that marketing campaign, how hard is it to start it back up?
Oh my gosh, especially when it comes to SEO, if you
Oh,
stop with that, it stinks because they don't understand, it's intangible. And so you stop and then you don't see the effects right away, but man, it's so much work and so much momentum built and then it all gets thrown down the tube, especially if you don't know what you're doing and you end up redoing your website or something, you completely jack up anything that was already been built.
I know that like people all the time in September or October, November, December, they want to cut their ad costs. They want to cut their SEO budget. They want to cut all this because they're not doing the work. Well, I say we'll just budget for it. And actually, if you budget in the season, if you budget one time in winter, triple down. I promise you that you won't ever have to worry about deals anymore if you market to winter. And in spring, you won't have to scramble to keep everybody busy. You would just have it already. And that's the reason why we're able to keep the company growing year over year because at the moment that you stop in winter, that's the moment that guys are going to wander. PM is going to go sideways. Sales guys are going to go elsewhere. Your office team is going to get distracted. Historically speaking, like we dominate in winter.
Boom. Well said.
What is one advice that you have for guys that is at $1 million that want to go to 5 million? What is a few things that they can do right now to beginning that process?
Yeah. Get a marketing system in place and that's your own marketing system and don't rely on paid ads alone because as soon as you stop paying for ads, the well dries up. So make sure that you're constantly working on your brand. All of our programs, the core of our programs is SEO. And so what that is basically trying to be the matchmaker between Google and your brand so that you are showing up, you're gaining Google's favor so that they will then introduce your brand to people that are interested in your services. And there's a lot that goes into it, but at the end of the day, it's about being really helpful. You could kind of look at your website as being the Wikipedia of everything deck builder or whatever your service offering is and making sure that you're constantly sending those signals and just being helpful. Whatever questions people are asking, have it on your site. Treat your site like its own salesperson. If every prospect that talked to you went to your website and your website naturally primed them so that when you do get on the call with them, they're ready to go. They know, like, they've seen examples of your work and what the price range is. They know that you have warranties and guarantees. They know that you have financing. They even know what your minimum project is based off of your form because when you ask for their budget, there's a minimum amount there. Yeah, just really focus and be intentional with your touch points too. Some things that we do are, like we always recommend having a video on your website or your lead capture page, and then having helpful information that you send to the prospect before the call will even help them to make sure that they're prepared. Have you thought about these different features? How are you going to use the space? These types of things. You are in so much more control than you think. And if you're intentional about it, you can really bring in the right type of clients that you want. And niching down really helps too, as you've done. And I think that, again, I'm using that word intention, like knowing what type of projects and services that you enjoy the most, then you make the most money on, and make sure that you're putting those in the forefront, and you're marketing those and putting money into getting those instead of trying to do everything at once.
I think one of the key factor that I kind of want to expand on your point is most of the guy under 5 million, maybe even under 10. You don't need to be a construction type of company to get there. I see fence company doing 10 million. I see bathroom company do 100 millions. I haven't seen a deck guy did yet, but you will. I haven't seen. I don't see a general construction company that doing more than 10. Think about that for a second. There is, but there's usually an architectural firm. They're not a general construction company. So think about that for a second. The specialists get paid the most. So if you decided to, niche down, please, for the love of God, change your company name.
Yeah.
Hey, your last name and construction, and you specialize in deck building, you're missing the opportunity to have your name memorable. So I know that I'm diving straight into the point that hurt a lot of people ego, but that that need to be say, if you do that, just have that in your company name.
Super, or outdoor living if you're doing bigger spaces.
Yeah, just like, hey, if I were to rebrand right now, I would rebrand to, hey, Omaha Outdoor Living.
And I think the biggest thing is just having people that you trust, you know? I do recommend, I'm gonna be biased about marketing. I mean, I have a lot of people that come to me and they've worked with, somebody that, I don't know, knows how to build websites or whatever, when they first start. Because it's like it alleviates the pressure of like, oh my gosh, like I don't want to end up picking, an agency or something that's going to waste my money because I've never spent this much. But then like there's so much wasted time. They don't do things right. They don't understand, the services that they offer, and it's just wasted time. So, if you really want to grow a business and be a business owner and a CEO or an investment, an investor in your business, have clear goals and what you want, and set aside the cash it's going to take and the resources, and, make sure that you have the right people on your side that you can trust that are going to lead you in the right direction too. I think that's a big problem that I see with a lot of deck builders.
Case in point, invest in marketing. Hit up April if you want some help in how to navigate that space. And I will put this information in the podcast description. But April, thank you for coming on. And like I hope that everybody and that get value out of this, and go and market smart and market consistently, and don't stop marketing.
Love it.
All right, we out. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. If you find this episode helpful, or if it changed your life in a positive way in any manner, please share with another friend, tell another friend about this podcast. Again, thank you. Until next time.